from the frame rate in this forest. OMG. I tell you what, it is borderline unplayable, I tell you. Unplayable! What's going on, everyone? I'm not sure about anyone else, but I'm personally, sick to death with hearing about this so-called Switch Pro that's almost, definitely too many people being released this year because, analysts believe so, and, of course, it makes so much sense for Nintendo to release a Switch Pro in order to keep up with the competition, that not only currently have much more powerful consoles, but will also most likely be revealing their next consoles soon that will supersede their current ones. But I'm not going to mess around here, and I'll get straight to the point. I don't understand the people who want a Switch Pro. I really don't. The arguments, of course, are that currently the Switch is able to run many of what people like to call modern AAA games like Doom, Wolfenstein, or even games like Warframe, Diablo 3, and Fortnite. But of course, these games don't run as well as they do on current, more powerful consoles like the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. And I'll ignore the PC market for this point because the PC will theoretically always be at the pinnacle of technology when it comes to games. But we have those people who seem to have this desire to have the Switch be on par for the most part with current console platforms designed to be fixed to the TV and not moved around like the Switch is doing. By their very nature, they don't have to worry about being in a halfway house to please two sides of their concept, because they only have one side to their concept, and that's to produce the best looking games that are currently on the market. And what I mean by the best looking, I simply mean by graphical performance and fidelity, right? So this leads me back to those people who want a Switch Pro, because games like Doom just don't look as good as on the PS4s, which, as we know, is it's a stupid mindset anyway, because how can you expect a hybrid console or platform to produce an equally good performing and graphically intensive game as a platform that doesn't have to worry about becoming portable and is a fraction, and the Switch is of course a fraction of the size of the PS4, let's say. Technology just doesn't work this way, of course, at least not yet. So, these people have bought a Switch, but reality has sunk in, and that being able to have a gaming platform that is essentially the best of all worlds when it comes to when and where you're able to play it is, indeed now the current way forwards and the future of gaming consoles for many. Many people feel this way now. And to make matters even worse for many haters, it's Nintendo once again who have pushed this concept into the public limelight and have made a huge success of it. This doesn't only scare the crap out of Nintendo haters, but I will tell you this for a fact. This also scares the crap out of those developers who have thrived off pushing their graphically intensive games on platforms created by non-video game companies who have tried to tell the world that the future of gaming is all about the gigaflops and not in what's deemed as the acceptable. Imagine, EA actually made effort for a good FIFA title for the Switch, and it sold really well because it simply looked good enough on the Switch, and people weren't interested any longer in playing it on a platform that's fixed solely to the TV, and has told the world that this is the future of gaming. I could tell you right now that EA would not want this future, and certainly with it being led by Nintendo. But anyway, as you can see, the people begging for a Switch Pro are still gripped by the notion that games need to be practically perfect in every way, and having performance drops or graphical substitutes on a hybrid console is just not acceptable to them. Which once again begs the question: why buy into the Switch or the hybrid ecosystem at all if you always want peak performance or the best of the best in terms of graphics? Because do you know what will happen? The same thing that happened to the PlayStation 4 Pro, a console that's not even got the struggles of pleasing both the home and portable market. Yet it still can't perform, for the most part, what Sony said it wanted to achieve with it, and that's deliver games in true 4K. It has, for the most part, got to find other ways around it. So people bought into this, and of course, many now want the PlayStation 5 and are once again hoping for a console that delivers most games in true 4K, and not only that, but at 60 frames per second. And don't even get me started on how far current games have advanced. And I say that with quotations, because my good people, that's a whole other rant. The problem you see is that people are never satisfied with what they have. Blame the game makers, blame the ecosystems that built this mentality, or hell, even blame human nature. But I will say this: if anyone wants a Switch Pro because they are unsatisfied with how the current Switch performs, then all I would say is don't buy a Switch Pro, because you will, I assure you, undoubtedly be unsatisfied with that platform, because it's still not matching up perfectly with what's on the market at the moment or in the future. The only platform you should buy is a PC, and then just pray to Chrome that developers themselves are competent enough to develop a game that, given the right PC specs, can indeed run at peak performance with no real issues, because a hybrid console with today's and for the far foreseeable future's technology will never be as good as a console or platform that only has one job, and has to try and run modern games at their best. Of course people will say, but if the Switch doesn't keep up, then developers will move on and not bring their games to the platform. Let me tell you something, it's a funny thing. You'll be surprised what developers will do when a platform is selling well. They might actually make efforts to find ways to create versions of their big name titles on what's deemed as weaker platforms, much like developers who brought Call of Duty Modern Warfare to the Nintendo Wii. Or hell, they might even create unique designed content just for that one platform. Wouldn't that be amazing, right? God. And if you're wondering, no, I'm not against the idea of a Switch Lite, as people are calling it, because that's a completely different ballgame, and one designed most likely to improve upon the visual design and comfort of the current console, which even I agree is probably Nintendo's most unreliable system ever in terms of physical endurance. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to play Octopath Traveler, a game that has 2D sprites, which looks like a SNES game, and also a game that runs at around 30 frames per second and has performance drops as well. I'm telling you people, it's absolutely unbearable. Unplayable, I tell you. I need a Switch Pro in order to get this game to the standards that I deem as playable. It's just crazy, But anyway, mini rant over. Let me know your thoughts as always. I can imagine this video being a bit unpopular, and hopefully getting some feedback. But hey, that's why I do these videos. Good comments, bad comments. Bring the pain, bring the happiness. I'll reply to every single one of you. And as always, thanks for listening all. Peace.